problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But
that
down.
dude hits hard.
Robert? Oh, sorry, when you done.
Yeah, so them ones with the eye, Robert. Okay.
Yeah.
We send it.
Answer. Anthony Joshua is Olympic champion. First. Jack Paul, it's sportsman, YouTuber, showman. Rolls Royce, Fiat.
Joe Rogan, known for speaking freely, recently shared his thoughts on Anthony Joshua sparring Oleksander Usyk ahead of the Jake Paul fight, and the reaction quickly caught the attention of the combat sports community. On his podcast, Rogan broke down the unusual nature of the situation, pointing out how surprising it was to see two elite heavyweight boxers connected to preparation for a matchup driven largely by spectacle and mainstream attention. Rogan questioned the contrast between the high-level technical boxing on display and the unconventional context surrounding the fight, highlighting how rare it is for athletes of that caliber to be linked to a build-up involving Jake Paul. His comments sparked debate about what the pairing represents and how seriously all sides are treating the event. By mixing doubt, respect, and his signature straightforward commentary, Rogan has fueled widespread discussion about what this unexpected training connection could signal, not only for Jake Paul, but for the broader direction of boxing itself.
A chance that Anthony Joshua is not going to just lose the weight beforehand. He's not going to come in drained. What he's going to do is just do extra cardio, and that's just going to make him more dangerous. He's going to be terrifying, and he's going to have a lot to prove. He's going to be very angry.
Instead of staying in the UK with his usual camp under trainer Ben Davison, Anthony Joshua revealed at a recent press event that part of his preparation for the December 19th bout in Miami would involve working alongside members of Oleksander Usyk's team. Joshua described the experience as both demanding and highly productive, praising the expertise and track record of Usyk's coaching setup. He also clarified that while the collaboration has been intense, it doesn't mean Usyk himself is involved in daily sparring sessions.
To find the belief in yourself, not in somebody else's system. You know what I mean? It's like Usyk's team might show him bits and bats of stuff. He doesn't box like Usyk. Can they train AJ to be similar to what Usyk's doing? AJ, you've got to pick out the best of what AJ does, and you've got to pick out the worst and improve the worst in him. And I'll say it time and time again. For me, the best trainer he ever had was Robert McCracken. It might not be what people want to hear, but he had him from the stages in the amateurs, from being a young mind, brought him through, guided. He had a good view of what the competition was out there, where to put him, where to manoeuvre him, when to take fights, when not to take fights. And he'd invested a lot of time in him, Robert McCracken. So it was the payoff. Now when you go to, if AJ came here or he goes to Ben Davison, or you're going to be in for a big payday as a trainer. It's a lot of responsibility to take on. Ben Davis is a good trainer. He's trained AJ for so many fights, brought him back. He'll have got paid handsomely. Everybody wants to train AJ because it's a good payday. But sometimes you have to think to yourself, are you capable of training that fighter? People have come to me wanting me to train. I said, to be honest, we're not going to match. What I want to do and what I want you to do is not going to work. So I just think AJ is looking for that secret ingredient.
By working alongside experienced members of Oleksander Usyk's camp, Anthony Joshua has been sharpening both sides of his game. Those watching his preparation say his attention to detail is constant, with every session centered on making measurable progress. From cleaner footwork and better timing to smoother combinations, his approach blends discipline with adaptability, allowing him to experiment while staying within a controlled structure. The setup also provides sparring partners who closely simulate real fight scenarios, forcing Joshua to stay sharp and responsive. As the date of the bout approaches, each workout carries more weight, reinforcing not just his physical conditioning, but his mental readiness as well. The entire routine reflects Joshua's understanding that in boxing, success depends on careful preparation and the willingness to continue evolving.
You know, Simon, I think he's at that stage of his career where he's trying to rediscover a little bit of that confidence. He's gone to Oleksander Usyk, where we're hearing reports he's out there training with Usyk and the team, trying to pick up something, trying to rediscover something.
That's very strange, Paul.
It is, but it's not unheard of. I've heard of a lot of fighters doing that. You see fighters, obviously, it's the old Rocky movies years ago, but you see a fighter losing to someone, all of a sudden they go in the camp and they start training and do little bits together and become friends or whatever else. I think it'll do Joshua no harm travelling, but as you say, he's a little bit long in the tooth and he's a bit on the back nine rather than the front nine, where that experience would really come into play. But I'm just looking at his record here. He obviously after the Usyk fight, he'd come back and he had 3 fights and then the Ngannou demolition
Well, yeah,
job.
Jermaine Franklin, he had Robert Helene, he had Otto Wally, and then he smashed Ngannou, which everyone went hallelujah for, right?
Yeah, but he's obviously not in like the BoxRec rankings to see where he is. But the Dubois fight is a fight where what you've just said then, Spencer, like match him right. I felt he was match right with Dubois. That's just my opinion.
Just
obviously I was wrong on that and I was proved wrong, but I felt like Joshua would have and should have came through that, but he obviously didn't. So therefore, it's back to the drawing board, and where do you go from there? What do you do from there? Does he keep the same team around him? Does he go and find someone new and try and adapt and add to his repertoire already? And this move at Usyk, I don't know what it'll be, but if he's fighting before Christmas, then he needs to get in shape quick, because there's only 8 weeks to go, let's say.
Well, my understanding, he's in camp, he's in shape, and just looking to get an out and get back to winning ways, is my understanding. That's why they're talking about 8 rounders. Yeah. He wants to sort of go under the radar a little bit, and it's difficult for someone like Anthony Joshua because he's such a commercial commodity.
He's always been in shape all the time, hasn't he? Yeah. He always will be in shape. He's never, ever not been.
But it's not about his physical shape, is it? No one's ever questioned his physical state. Zach, when I was talking about Anthony Joshua, and I know that the president of his fan club is here in Spencer, but I talked about the PTSD issue post various fights, whether it be the Oleksander Usyk or the Daniel Dubois situation. But prior to Daniel Dubois, I always maintained that I felt that despite the performance against Jermaine Franklin, despite the performance against Robert Helenius, which had been blasted out by Deontay Wilder.
While Anthony Joshua isn't consistently sparring Oleksander Usyk himself, he has fully immersed in the champion's training environment. By working closely with the elite coaches behind Usyk's success, Joshua is gaining exposure to a refined, high-level boxing system that helped produce multiple undisputed title runs. Joshua has spoken positively about the experience, noting that learning from a team with such a proven track record offers valuable perspective. He believes the insights gained from this setup are helping him sharpen his tools and better prepare for the distinct challenges presented by Jake Paul's style.
Going to that camp just for Jake Paul, because he could have gone to fucking my camp to beat Jake Paul.
AJ's been in camp with Usyk.
Take this seriously for it to get fucked off at the final minute.
What better camp to go join than the master himself?
What he's doing is he knows that he's got, 1, maybe 2 years left, maybe 2 years. So he's gone to the Usyk camp. There's motivation behind that, you know what I mean? Yes. You're not going to that camp just for Jake Paul, because he could have gone to fucking my camp to beat Jake Paul. But he's going to that camp for the future of next year, where he could be fighting Dubois, could be fighting.
Conor McGregor has shared a frank and cautious take on the potential Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua boxing match, suggesting the matchup carries serious danger and may not be a wise idea. He pointed to Joshua's background as a former world champion with proven knockout power, emphasizing the level of experience and physical force involved at heavyweight that McGregor noted that stepping into the ring at that level demands respect, while also highlighting the risks such a contest could pose for Paul. Even with his concerns, McGregor said he would acknowledge Paul's courage if he fully commits to the challenge, though he remains skeptical about whether a crossover fight of this scale truly makes sense from a competitive perspective.
He's gonna get knocked out by AJ though, isn't he?
If he makes that walk, gotta give him his respect with that. It's very dangerous, It seems like Netflix are all over him. It's a dangerous sport, and you can't overlook that. And Joshua's a big boy and a powerhouse. I've sat ringside and watched Joshua. That's a heavy punching man, and he's you think he's a happy and he's a good kid. He has an anger in him. He has a darkness in him, does Anthony Joshua. And I don't think a lot of people trust that. So, the fight shouldn't go ahead. In my opinion, the fight shouldn't go ahead. But if he does it,
UFC President Dana White has also shared strong opinions on the anticipated Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul matchup, questioning whether the fight belongs within the framework of elite professional boxing. White described the pairing as uneven, raising concerns about what it represents for the sport when a former heavyweight champion faces a social media star turned boxer. Known for his outspoken style, White challenged the competitive logic behind the matchup, suggesting that it prioritizes visibility and hype over traditional measures of merit. His comments quickly ignited debate online, with fans split between viewing the bout as smart business or seeing it as a step too far into spectacle. White argued that while celebrity-driven fights can generate massive attention and revenue, they also risk shifting boxing away from its core identity. In his view, allowing fame to outweigh experience and skill could blur the line between serious competition and entertainment, potentially reshaping expectations for future matchups in the sport.
Around him that will be saying to him, mate, Anthony hasn't boxed for a year and a half. Mate, Anthony got dropped in his last fight. Anthony's head's all over the place. He's gone. So listen, fair fucking play. If he steps up and fights AJ, I will be the first to hold my hands up and go, fair fucking play. He'd have to be crazy to do it. He would have to be crazy to do it. Jake Paul's never really fought anyone major, like, you know, when's he going to step up and fight a real fighter? I mean, this would definitely be one way to kill that narrative, but it would be a dangerous one. If we're offered it, and the money that I know is inevitable in a fight like that, it would be very difficult for us to turn it down. And I know some people will find a reason to not like it at the moment, but I'm just going to give it to you straight always. We were going to have a run out this year in an 8-rounder against someone in the top, I don't know, 120 on BoxRec that you've never heard of. We could have a run out against Jake Paul, end him in boxing forever, get rid of this whole little silly thing, and make about 50 or 60x in the process. How can you turn it down? So if it's real, there is a chance. Jake's won fights that I didn't think he'd win. And Jake has got a lot better over the last couple of years. He ain't in Anthony Joshua's league, that's for sure. The only way this fight happens, if it's a fight, it's a sanctioned fight. I mean, ultimately, it's a cruiserweight stepping up to fight a heavyweight. I mean, previously, what did you have? You had a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, but that was an exhibition. This is no exhibition. This is the 10-ounce big boys, and this is a real fight. We've already really got our plans with Turki Al-Sheikh for 2026, which is ultimately to fight Tyson Fury, but also to have another fight in February. We got the phone call to say, look, obviously Gervonta's out, would you be interested in December? And the only other options we had for December was to do an 8-rounder on a card somewhere, which I didn't even know was going to happen. So I said to Nikita, if you're truthful about this, which he assures me Jake is, then it could happen. So let's live in the real world, yeah? And let's just, everybody stay calm and make logical business decisions. What would you do, right? And please don't give me the, yes, but you have to think about the legacy here. You can't eat legacy, and legacy is so important. By the way, he's an Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time world heavyweight champion. The legacy's okay. I wouldn't let him not take this fight. I would push him in the ring to take this fight. So if you want to blame someone, blame me. Just relax. One, I don't even know if it's going to happen. Two, if it does, just relax. Enjoy us going in there for boxing and sticking one on his chin. We'll go back, we'll fight Tyson Fury, etc. So just relax. But how can you say no?
Professional boxer Liam Cameron has weighed in on how fans are viewing the matchup. He points out that most people expect Anthony Joshua to control the fight, given his Olympic background and years of experience at the highest level. Cameron also notes that some viewers may even tune in anticipating a one-sided display, curious to see the gap in ability play out in real time. That expectation, he says, places added pressure on Jake Paul, who must show adaptability, toughness, and the ability to handle the moment. Cameron's analysis highlights how fan perception shapes crossover bouts, affecting not only how these events are promoted, but also how fighters prepare mentally and perform once they're in the ring.
Like Jake Paul, AJ's going to do you a favour because he's going to flatten him. But big props to that Jake Paul for gaining ring win. Listen to this, he's a multi-millionaire. Multi-millionaire. You don't have to box. And he's fighting him. He's either a madman or he knows something we don't know. But people like saying, oh, I wouldn't take this Jake Paul fight. Listen, every boxer on the planet would fight Jake Paul for money. I'd fight Anthony Joshua for money. I'd get flattened, but I'd fight him. So yeah, I think people sometimes have to watch what they say and think about it. If I were going to...
Boxing analyst Joey Knight has offered one of the more cautionary takes on the matchup, focusing on Jake Paul's underlying motivations and what they could mean for the outcome. Knight suggests that much of Paul's drive comes from the spotlight the fight creates and the viral attention surrounding it. rather than a traditional pursuit of championship progression. That assessment doesn't imply a lack of effort or seriousness, but it places the bout firmly within the realm of entertainment-focused boxing. Knight contrasts this with Anthony Joshua's approach, which remains rooted in technical development, discipline, and long-term standing in the sport. According to him, this clash of priorities, exposure and engagement on one side, refinement and legacy on the other, adds complexity to the matchup. It also deepens the narrative, making the fight as much about contrasting motivations as it is about what happens once the bell rings.
A lot of cash, maybe not as much as the Anthony Joshua fight, but a lot of cash, and can still have a serious chance of going on to earn even more paydays. Whereas the damage that it could do to his body could be irreversible for that opportunity to earn money in a boxing career going forward. So is this the retirement bag, or do you actually think you can win? Because I read a study recently, and I believe it said something along the lines of men overemphasize or overcalculate their ability to fight by about 500 times. And I'm saying Jake Paul would probably need to be 500 times better to stand a chance against Anthony Joshua. And I can't get how he doesn't already know this. Surely he has sparred with heavyweights. Surely the recent sparring that he had with the likes of Shakur Stevenson and with the likes of Ray Ford, amongst others, Badu Jack, surely that would have taught you that there are levels to boxing. And if these small guys are able to show you things that you had no idea that you were vulnerable to in a boxing ring, what happens when someone who hits 4, 5, 6 times as hard as that does the exact same thing to you and lands it on your chin? The whole reason of why I know where I am in the influencer boxing scene, in the misfit scene, is because of the level that I have sparred at. I've sparred boys that have gone on to box for world titles. I've sparred with English champions, and I've sparred with loads of...
Legendary ring announcer Michael Buffer has spoken openly about the influence Jake and Logan Paul have had on today's boxing scene, particularly when it comes to drawing in younger audiences and generating renewed interest. Buffer has acknowledged that their involvement in major events has injected a level of energy and visibility that the sport had been missing, helping boxing connect with viewers who may not have followed it otherwise, while recognizing that traditional fans still debate the legitimacy of crossover bouts. Buffer has emphasized that the Paul brothers' ability to create buzz, tell engaging stories, and capture mainstream attention can't be ignored. Their presence has expanded boxing's reach, bringing increased media coverage and introducing the sport to a wider audience. Buffer views this influx of new fans as an opportunity rather than a threat. A broader audience, he suggests, gives established fighters a bigger platform to showcase their skills, while blending entertainment value with genuine athletic competition. From his perspective, boxing benefits when smart promotion and compelling matchups help grow the sport, as long as the core values of skill, discipline, and tradition remain intact.
Jake and Logan, first of all, are fantastic athletes. You know what Logan does with the WWE and what Jake does with boxing, he knocks people out and everything. And they both have massive fan bases. And for me, it's great to see people get young people that follow them that didn't have they don't remember Ali or Joe Frazier or whatever. It's not in their wheelhouse. So it's great to see them developing fight fans and a big fight atmosphere. So it's very exciting.
These two stood face to face, and the comment section on the internet was going crazy. They were like, call the ambulance now, basically. Anthony Joshua looks dangerous standing next to him.
Anthony Joshua is, at this time, and has been for years, the biggest puncher in boxing. He's a devastating puncher. So I got to give Jake a lot of credit for wanting to take this fight.
Yeah, a lot of people saying it's not smart. If he somehow was able to surprise the world, what does this do for him?
The word would be surprise if he shocked the world. But that's exactly why you got to give him credit. He wants to do it. He trains hard, he works hard, and he has a lot of faith in himself. So we'll see what happens.
Technically, though, what's the biggest concern for you? What's the biggest tip you could give Jake, knowing that you've watched Anthony so many times dominate?
For entertainment purposes, and I can do a little bit of everything. So I can be the heel, the villain, I could be a jackass, I could shit talk, I could be investor, businessman, CEO, boxer, whatever it is. You know the drill. The current state of modern entertainment, you got to do it all. You got to play across the board and be good at all these things. But I've been in this game for 12, 13 years now, and I've seen a lot of people fall by the wayside, but me and my brother have just worked hard and been super calculated and know what we're doing in this space.
I think the work ethic is obviously absurd, and you guys are a couple of Ohio fucks at your core, so we have massive respect for that. But obviously talent and having to understand where the world is going is a forethought that not a lot of people have in history. You're a trailblazer, you know that. Now let's get to your boxing career. You've been very, very, very upfront about how you want to be a world champion. You focus your entire life to boxing, it seems. We've seen you in other eras and chapters of your life where you were doing a lot of things. Then you turned your focus fully to boxing. You said boxing saved your life. You fell in love with it. Now you're taking on a guy who has done the same thing with boxing for most of his life. He has loved it. He has invested in it. He has fought the greats. He's been in the biggest fights. He's been champion. I think a lot of us were very surprised that this would be happening. How do you feel just a few days out? And what went into the decision to fucking fight Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, look, to me, I see a lot of paths to victory in his style, and styles make fights. We all know that. He's lost to guys who are shorter mostly and lighter mostly, and faster than him. I see holes in his game. I see punches that I can land.